July 22nd, 2000, Teton County, Wyoming, 2:17 p.m. A 13-year-old boy named Cody Clausen is dying 150 feet below Table Mountain Trail. His right ankle is shattered at 3 separate points, bone exposed, temperature dropping. The nearest hospital is 40 minutes away by car. If you could get a car up there, you can't. Search and rescue dispatch says 2 hours minimum to organize a ground team. Cody doesn't have 2 hours. Then a sound cuts through the silence of the ravine. Rotor blades. A Bell 206 helicopter appears over the ridge. The pilot is 58 years old. His face has sold $4.7 billion in box office tickets. But none of that matters right now. What Harrison Ford does in the next 127 minutes will never appear in any of his films. Here is the story. Table Mountain Trail. 11:43 a.m., 3 hours earlier. Cody Clausen adjusts his Boy Scout backpack and looks up at the peak. He's with his troop, 12 boys, 2 leaders, all from Boise, Idaho. Summer camp tradition. The trail is rated moderate. 6.2 miles round trip. Elevation gain, 2,800 feet. Cody has hiked harder trails. He's confident. He's prepared. He's wearing proper boots. But at marker 4.1, something happens. His left boot catches on a root buried under loose gravel. His weight shifts, his ankle twists. He tries to catch himself, can't. The trail edge crumbles beneath him, and Cody Clausen falls. He doesn't scream on the way down. His voice catches in his throat. 150 feet of vertical drop. His body hits rock, slides, hits rock again, tumbles, stops, silence, long, heavy, then pain, everywhere. But mostly his right ankle. He tries to move it. Fire shoots through his leg. He looks down. His boot is bent at an angle boots shouldn't bend. Something white pokes through the skin above the laces. Bone. His bone. Cody Clausen is 13 years old, and he's looking at his own skeleton. The troop leaders reach the edge of the trail. Look down. See Cody. One of them, Marcus Webb, 34, Eagle Scout, certified in wilderness first aid, makes a decision. He can't climb down alone. The rocks are too unstable. If he falls, 2 people die. He pulls out his satellite phone, dials 911. The dispatcher's voice crackles through. "What's your location?" Marcus gives coordinates. The dispatcher types, pauses. "We're organizing a rescue team. ETA, 2 hours. The kid doesn't have 2 hours. That's the fastest we can mobilize ground support, sir." Marcus looks at his watch. 2:17 p.m. He looks at Cody. The boy's lips are already turning pale. Marcus knows what that means. Shock, hypothermia. Cody is losing this fight. But 12 miles away, someone else is listening. Jackson Hole Airport, Hangar B7. 2:19 p.m. Harrison Ford finishes refueling his Bell 206 helicopter. He's been flying search and rescue missions as a volunteer for Teton County for 6 years now. 8,247 total flight hours logged. 127 of those hours, unpaid rescue operations. He's wearing a faded denim shirt, aviator sunglasses, boots that have seen better years. The radio on his hip crackles. He hears the coordinates. Table Mountain, 150-foot ravine. Boy Scout, 13 years old. Compound fracture. Ford doesn't ask permission. Doesn't call dispatch. Doesn't check if someone else is closer. He drops the fuel nozzle. Runs to the cockpit. Straps in. Flips 8 switches in sequence. The engine roars to life. Rotor blades begin their rotation. 2:21 p.m. He lifts off. The airport tower controller's voice comes through his headset. N48HF, you're not scheduled for departure. Emergency response. Table Mountain, 1 patient. Critical. Copy that. Clear for immediate departure. Ford banks east. The Teton Range fills his windshield. He knows these mountains, every peak, every valley, every wind pattern. Table Mountain is 12 minutes away at full speed. He pushes the throttle forward. The helicopter climbs. 90 knots, 110, 120. The altimeter reads 7,200 feet. 7,800, 8,400. The radio crackles again. It's the search and rescue coordinator. N48HF, are you responding to the Table Mountain call? Affirmative. Ground team is en route. ETA 90 minutes. Patient doesn't have 90 minutes. Understood. Be advised, no clear landing zone at those coordinates. Terrain is extremely unstable. Ford doesn't respond. He knows. He's seen the maps. He's flown over Table Mountain 47 times. There's no meadow, no clearing. No flat ground within 800 meters of that ravine. But there's a boy down there who's running out of time, and Ford has a helicopter. 2:29 p.m. Ford spots the trail, sees the troop leaders waving from the edge. He circles once, twice. On the third pass, he sees him. Cody Clausen, motionless, pale, alone, 150 feet below the trail in a ravine barely 30 feet wide. Pine trees on both sides, rocks everywhere. No space to land, except for one spot, between two lodgepole pines, a strip of dirt. Maybe 9 meters long, maybe 3 meters wide. Ford does the math in his head. His helicopter's rotor diameter, 10.16 meters. The space between the trees approximately 10.4 meters. That gives him 12 centimeters of clearance on each side. 12 centimeters at 8,600 feet elevation, where air is thin and rotor efficiency drops by 30% in variable wind conditions. Ford has two options: wait for the ground team, or land in a space that gives him less margin for error than parking a car in a garage. He chooses the third option. He lands anyway. The helicopter descends. Slowly, the trees bend in the rotor wash. Branches crack, snap, fall. The skids are 3 feet from the ground. 2 feet, 1. Ford's eyes are locked on the clearance between his rotor tips and the pine bark. 6 inches on the left, 6 inches on the right. The helicopter shudders. The tail rotor kicks up dirt and pine needles. The main gear touches earth, unstable earth. The helicopter tilts 2 degrees to the left. Ford compensates. The skids settle. The rotors slow. Stop. Silence. Ford unbuckles, grabs his medical kit from the back seat, steps out of the cockpit. The air is thin, cold. He's at 8,600 feet. His breath comes out in visible puffs, even though it's July. He walks toward the edge of the ravine, looks down. Cody Clausen is 40 feet below. Ford begins the descent, hand over hand. Finding purchase on rock. Medical kit slung over his shoulder. It takes him 4 minutes to reach the bottom. Cody opens his eyes, sees a man in a denim shirt and aviator sunglasses crouching beside him. The man takes off the sunglasses. Cody recognizes the face. He's seen it on posters, on TV, in magazines. His brain tries to process this. Harrison Ford, Han Solo, Indiana Jones. Here, in this ravine, looking at his broken ankle. The cognitive dissonance is too much. Cody's brain shuts down the celebrity recognition and focuses on the only thing that matters. Someone came. Ford kneels, checks Cody's pulse. Carotid artery, 112 beats per minute, elevated but strong. He checks respiration, shallow, 22 breaths per minute. He looks at the ankle, compound fracture, tibia visible through the skin, swelling severe, blood flow compromised. Ford opens his medical kit, pulls out a thermal blanket, wraps it around Cody's shoulders. Then he does something Cody will remember for the rest of his life. Ford takes off his own jacket, a brown leather flight jacket. Worn, comfortable, warm. He tucks it around Cody's torso. Cody tries to protest. His voice comes out weak. "You'll be cold." Ford looks at him. Doesn't smile, doesn't give a Hollywood reassurance. Just states fact. You're not alone anymore. 2:34 p.m. Ford pulls out a splint from the medical kit. 2 aluminum rods, Velcro straps, padding. He looks at Cody's ankle again. The bone is exposed. If he moves it wrong, he could sever an artery. If he doesn't stabilize it, the fracture could worsen with every breath Cody takes. Ford makes a decision. He's not moving Cody, not yet. Not until he's stable. He gathers materials, 3 straight pine branches, duct tape from the emergency kit, gauze. He builds a makeshift splint around the existing injury without touching the bone. Gentle, precise. He's done this before. Not on a movie set. In real life, in 1999, he pulled a stranded climber off Mount Humphreys. In 1998, he evacuated a dehydrated hiker from Death Valley. This is his 7th rescue mission, but Cody doesn't know any of that. He just knows his ankle doesn't hurt quite as much now. Ford checks his watch. 2:41 p.m. He pulls out his radio, calls the search and rescue coordinator. Patient is stabilized. Compound tib-fib fracture. Possible internal bleeding. I'm staying with him until medevac arrives. Copy that. Helicopter medevac is 12 minutes out. Can you prepare an LZ? Ford looks around at the 9-meter strip of dirt between the trees, at his Bell 206 occupying most of it. Negative. Current LZ is at capacity. Advise medevac to use trail access point. I'll carry patient up. That's a 150-foot vertical climb with an injured miner. I'm aware. Recommend waiting for ground team with proper extraction equipment. Ford looks at Cody. The boy's skin is pale. His lips have a blue tint. His breathing is getting more shallow. Ford knows what's happening. Shock. Progressing. Cody's body is shutting down non-essential functions to preserve core organs. If they wait another 90 minutes for the ground team, Cody might not be conscious when they arrive. I'm bringing him up. Ford out. He clips the radio to his belt, looks at Cody. I'm going to carry you to the top. It's going to hurt, but we don't have time to wait. Cody nods. Can't speak. Ford positions himself. Slides one arm under Cody's knees, the other behind his back. Lifts. Cody weighs 98 pounds, plus the thermal blanket, plus the medical equipment Ford has strapped to him. Total, approximately 110 pounds. Ford is 58 years old, but he's been carrying equipment up mountains for 6 years. He's trained for this. He begins the climb. The ravine wall is 40-degree incline, loose rock, unstable footing. Ford takes each step deliberately. Right foot. Test the rock. Shift weight. Left foot. Test. Shift. Repeat. Cody tries not to scream. Fails. Every movement sends fire through his ankle, but Ford doesn't stop. Doesn't slow down. Doesn't apologize. He just keeps climbing. Step after step after step. Halfway up, Cody passes out. The pain is too much. His body shuts down. Ford feels the boy go limp in his arms. Checks his breathing. Still there. Faint, but there. He keeps climbing. His shoulders burn. His back screams. His knees threaten to give out. He ignores all of it. Because 58 years old or not, famous or not, tired or not, there's a boy in his arms who needs a hospital. 3:04 p.m. Ford reaches the top. The troop leaders rush forward, try to take Cody from his arms. Ford doesn't let go, not yet. He carries Cody 30 more feet, to a flat area, sets him down gently. Only then does he release him. Ford's shirt is soaked through with sweat. His hands are shaking. He's breathing hard. But his voice is steady when he gives the report to Marcus Webb. Compound tib-fib fracture, stabilized with field splint. Patient lost consciousness at 2:58 p.m. due to pain. Breathing stable, pulse elevated but strong. He needs immediate transport to Jackson Hospital. Orthopedic surgeon, possible vascular damage. Marcus stares at him. You just carried him up 150 feet. Ford doesn't acknowledge the statement. Just pulls out his radio. Calls the incoming medevac. Patient is at trail access. Ready for immediate extraction. 3 minutes later, a Teton County search and rescue helicopter appears. Lands on the trail. 2 paramedics jump out. Run to Cody. Ford steps back. Watches them work. They do exactly what he expected. Check vitals. Start an IV. Load Cody onto a stretcher. The whole process takes 6 minutes. As they're lifting Cody into the helicopter, the boy opens his eyes, looks around, sees Ford standing 20 feet away, tries to say something. can't. The paramedics close the door. The helicopter lifts off. Gone. Marcus Webb approaches Ford. "We should get your name. For the report." "Not necessary. The family will want to thank you. They can thank the paramedics. You saved his life." Ford looks at Marcus. His expression doesn't change. "I gave him a ride and kept him warm. The doctors will save his life." Then he turns, walks back toward the ravine edge, begins the climb down to his helicopter. Marcus watches him go, pulls out his phone, calls the local news station anyway. Ford reaches his Bell 206, performs a post-landing inspection, checks for damage from the tight landing, finds a few scratches on the rotor guards from pine branches. Nothing structural. He climbs into the cockpit, straps in, starts the engine, the rotors spin up. He lifts off from that impossible 9-meter strip of dirt between the trees like it's the easiest thing in the world. 3:19 p.m. He banks west, flies back to Jackson Hole, lands, refuels, parks the helicopter, fills out the maintenance log. Under flight purpose, he writes, "Training exercise." Under passengers, he writes, 0. He leaves the hangar at 4:02 p.m., drives home. He doesn't call anyone, doesn't post about it, doesn't mention it to his family. Because to Harrison Ford, this wasn't heroism, it was Tuesday. But Marcus Webb did call the news station, and they called the hospital. And the hospital confirmed a 13-year-old Boy Scout named Cody Clausen was in surgery for a compound fracture, and a reporter connected the dots. By 7 p.m. the story breaks. Harrison Ford rescues injured Boy Scout in daring mountain helicopter landing. Ford's phone starts ringing. He doesn't answer. His agent calls. His publicist calls. 3 major networks call. Ford ignores all of them. But the Clausen family calls too. Cody's mother, Jennifer. She leaves a voicemail. Her voice is shaking. "Mr. Ford, this is Jennifer Clausen, Cody's mother. I don't know how to thank you. The doctor said if he'd been out there another hour, he might have lost his leg, or worse. Thank you. Please call us back. We'd love to meet you, to thank you properly." Ford listens to the voicemail, deletes it, not out of cruelty, but because he knows how this works. If he calls back, it becomes a story. If he meets them, there will be photos. If there are photos, it becomes publicity. And the moment it becomes publicity, it stops being about a boy who needed help and starts being about Harrison Ford's image. And Ford doesn't save people for image. 2 days later, a reporter from the Jackson Hole News and Guide shows up at Ford's property. Ford answers the door. The reporter asks for an interview. Ford gives him exactly 90 seconds. "I'm glad the boy is okay. I was in the area. I had the equipment and training. Anyone in my position would have done the same, that's all. Will you visit Cody in the hospital?" Ford's jaw tightens. "He needs doctors, not actors." The reporter writes that down. That quote makes the headline. Some people call it humble, some call it cold. But anyone who understands what Ford actually meant knows he's drawing a line between performance and reality, between doing good things and being seen doing good things, between heroism and entertainment. It wasn't about being seen. It was about doing what needed to be done. Cody Clausen spent 6 weeks in Jackson Hospital, 3 surgeries, 12 pins inserted, 4 plates, physical therapy 5 days a week. His ankle will never be the same, but it's there, functional. He'll walk, he'll run, he'll hike again. The orthopedic surgeon tells Jennifer, "If your son had been out there another 90 minutes before treatment, we would have been talking about amputation. Whoever stabilized that fracture and kept him warm saved his leg." Jennifer tries again, calls Ford's agent, leaves her number, asks for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes to say thank you in person. The agent passes the message along. Ford doesn't respond, not out of arrogance, but because he's seen how this plays out. The meeting becomes an event. The event becomes a photo opportunity. The photo opportunity becomes a story about Harrison Ford, the good guy. And the story overshadows what actually matters. Cody is alive. His family is whole. The rescue worked. That's enough. But Jennifer Clausen doesn't give up. 3 months later, Cody is discharged, walking with a cane, healing, strong. Jennifer writes a letter, by hand, on paper. She addresses it to Harrison Ford, General Delivery, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. She doesn't know if he'll get it, but she writes it anyway. Mr. Ford, you don't know me. You probably don't remember my son. But I remember you. I remember getting the call that Cody had fallen. I remember the doctor saying someone landed a helicopter in an impossible space and carried him out. I remember thinking that person gave me my son back. You won't take our phone calls. You won't meet with us, I understand. You're a private person, but I need you to know something. Cody wakes up every morning and his ankle hurts. And every morning, that pain reminds him that someone he didn't know risked their life to save his. You taught him something no Boy Scout manual ever could, that real heroes don't do it for the badges. You don't owe us anything. You don't owe us a meeting or a photo or a moment of your time. You already gave us everything. You gave us more years with Cody, more birthdays, more Christmases, more chances to watch him grow up. I just wanted you to know, we remember. Even if the world forgets. We remember Jennifer Clausen. She mails it. 6 days later, she gets a response, not from Ford, from his assistant. A typed letter, professional, polite. It says, Mr. Ford appreciates your kind words. He's glad Cody is recovering well. He asks that you respect his privacy regarding this matter. Best wishes to your family. Jennifer reads it, cries. Not because Ford won't meet them, but because she finally understands. Some people do good things because it's right, not because it feels good. Not because it looks good, just because it's right. And asking for credit ruins the purity of that. It wasn't about being seen. It was about doing what needed to be done. Years pass. Cody Clausen graduates high school, goes to college, becomes a wilderness guide. The ankle never fully heals. He walks with a slight limp, but he walks, and every time someone asks about the limp, he tells the story. Not about Harrison Ford, the movie star, about a pilot who chose to help, who chose to stay, who chose to disappear afterward. 18 years after the rescue, Cody Clausen gets married. His wife's name is Sarah. They talk about children, about names. Sarah suggests traditional names, Michael, James, Elizabeth. Cody has a different idea. If it's a boy, he says, I want to name him Harrison. Sarah knows the story, asks, because of the actor. No, Cody says, because of the pilot. Their son is born. Harrison James Clausen, 7 pounds, 4 ounces, healthy, strong. When Harrison Jr. is old enough to ask about his name, Cody tells him the truth, not the Hollywood version, the real version, about a man who could have let someone else handle it, who could have waited for the professionals, who could have become a hero in the headlines, but who chose instead to land a helicopter in an impossible space, carry a stranger up a mountain, and vanish before the cameras arrived. That's the kind of man you're named after, Cody tells his son, not the one on movie posters. The one who does the right thing when nobody's watching. Harrison Jr. is 4 years old. The Clausen family is visiting Jackson Hole. Cody takes his son to the Teton County Search and Rescue hangar. There's a plaque on the wall. Volunteer pilots who've saved lives. The list is long. Names, dates, number of rescues. Cody finds the one he's looking for. Ford H. 1 Rescue 2000. Just that. No photo, no context, no story. Just a name and a number. Cody picks up Harrison Jr. Points to the plaque. You see that name? That's why you're called Harrison, because that man taught me something important. What did he teach you, Daddy? Cody thinks. Remembers being 13. Remembers the pain, the fear, the cold. Remembers a man in a leather jacket saying, "You're not alone anymore." Remembers a man who refused every interview, every award, every opportunity to turn trauma into publicity. He taught me that the best people are the ones who help when nobody will ever know about it. It wasn't about being seen, it was about doing what needed to be done. Have you ever had someone help you when they didn't have to? When there was no reward, no recognition, no cameras, someone who just showed up? Think about that person. Have you thanked them? Or better yet, have you become them for someone else? Because here's what Harrison Ford understood, that most people don't. Heroism isn't about the moment. It's about the choice. The choice to act when it's easier to wait. The choice to help when it's safer to leave. The choice to disappear when it's more profitable to stay in the spotlight. Ford saved Cody Clausen in 127 minutes, but the impact of those 127 minutes has lasted 24 years and counting. A boy who kept his leg. A family that stayed whole. A son named after a stranger. A lesson passed down through generations. The truest form of heroism is the kind that demands nothing in return. Hollywood builds billion-dollar franchises on fictional heroes. Men who save the world, get the girl, and ride off into the sunset while cameras roll. But on July 22, 2000, Harrison Ford did something no script could capture. He became the hero nobody filmed. The one who saved a life, refused the applause, and went home like it was just another Tuesday, because to him it was. Cody Clausen is 37 years old now, 3 children, a successful career, a life he almost didn't get to live. And every year on July 22nd, he calls his son Harrison, tells him the story again, makes sure he understands. "Your name isn't about a celebrity," Cody says. "It's about what a man chose to do when a boy needed help and nobody was watching." That's what real heroism looks like, and that's what I want you to remember. In a world that worships performance, Harrison Ford chose presence. In an industry built on visibility, he chose silence. In a culture that demands credit, he chose to simply help. No press conference, no award ceremony, no book deal, just a helicopter, a medical kit, and 127 minutes of doing what needed to be done. The plaque is still there in Jackson Hole, one line among dozens. Ford H-1 Rescue 2000. But that one rescue changed everything for a family in Boise, Idaho. And Ford? He's still flying, still volunteering, still answering the radio when search and rescue calls, because that's what you do when you have the training, the equipment, and someone needs help. It's not complicated. It's not cinematic. It's not marketable. It's just right. And unfortunately, they don't make men like Harrison Ford anymore.